Hey, how's it going? So this is what we're going to learn how to make today. It's a 3D cube that rotates, and it rotates in any direction because it's actually a real 3D cube that can be manipulated to rotate in any direction that we want it to. And it's actually a lot easier to make than you would think, and it only requires HTML and styling, no JavaScript required. So that's fantastic, you know? All right, so let's go ahead and delete everything here. And let's go ahead and start making it from scratch. So first thing we're going to make is a front face of this 3D cube. And then let's just go ahead and do that by making a div. And then we're going to set the class of this div to front face. And then we're going to make this front face have a width of 300 pixels and a height of 300 pixels as well. And then we're going to set a background color of red to it. And then this is what it's going to look like. And it may not look like anything right now. I mean, like, it's just a, you know, it's just a div right now. But it will serve as the front face of the cube. And bear with me here, you'll see what I mean. So let's go ahead and start making the other faces. So remember, we have front face, right face, left face, back face, top face, and bottom face. Let's start making the right face. Cool, and then let's go ahead and set a class to the right face here. I set the class titled right face, and now I'm declaring this class. And for the right face, let's go ahead and set the background color to black. That way it's a little bit different. Cool. So now we have the front face, and then underneath it we have the right face. But we don't want it underneath it. We want it actually, you know, behaving as the right face of the cube. And we want it to be taking 3-dimensional space, not 2-dimensional space as it is right now. So what we're going to do here is we're going to set the position of the front face to absolute. And we're going to set the position of the right face to absolute as well. And the reason for this is going to allow us to basically manipulate everything in a much easier fashion. Alright, cool. So now we have the right face sitting atop of the front face, and now we're going to begin manipulating it in 3D space. And the way we do that is we're going to set the rotate of the right face to 0 in the x-axis, and then 1 in the x-axis, 1 in the y-axis, and then 0 in the z-axis. And then we're going to rotate the right face at a 90-degree angle. And now it's going to disappear because the divs, they don't have any thickness. So when you rotate it at a 90-degree angle on the y-axis, you can't really see it. But it's yeah, let's keep on moving. And to help you visualize where the right face is right now, let's go ahead and create a div around around the front face and the right face. And now in this div, let's set a class of container to it. Cool. So now that we have the container for these two faces, for this container, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to set a width on it of 500 pixels and a height of 500 pixels. And just to visualize, you know, like where this container is, let's just set a background color of green to it, just for now, you know. We'll remove this later. And then, cool, there it is, you know. And let's go ahead and set a margin here to auto. That way it centers everything. And let's also go ahead and set the position to relative. That way the front face and the right face are set relative to the container. Alright, cool. Now that that's set and done with, let's go ahead and remove this background color. Now we've already visualized where it is. Cool. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to rotate this container in 3D space. That way we are rotating both the front face and the right face as well. We want them rotating them together. And then, so we're going to go ahead and say rotate. And then we're going to rotate them along the y-axis, the x-axis, and the y-axis, and not the z-axis. And we're going to rotate it just slightly, just so we can see where the right face is. We're going to rotate it at like a 70-degree angle. Cool. All right, now as you can see here, this is not what we wanted at all, because what we see here is it's just rotated the image of this div, and that's all it's done. But that's not what we want, because we want to rotate not the image of the div, but the actual contents that are present in the web right now. And so in order to remedy this, what we're going to do is we're going to turn on this rotate function again, but we're going to set the transform style to, we're going to set it to preserve 3D. And then as you can see here, now we can see the right face. And the reason why this worked is now instead of the container, instead of when we rotate the container, instead of only seeing what's visually there, you know, instead of only rotating the image of this div, it's now rotating the actual contents of the HTML. So basically, if there's something hidden in there that is there but just not displaying, such as right face, we will see it. You know, so now we can kind of better see where the right face actually is. So let's make this rotation less dramatic here. All right, cool. So as you can see here, the right face is kind of in the center of the front face, and that's not where we want it. We want it to be the right face, you know. So what we're going to do is we're going to set a translate on it, and we're going to set the X translate to be 150 pixels. Cool. So as you can see, we're getting somewhere now. And then we're going to set the Y translate to 0 pixels. And then we're going to set the Z translate to also 150 pixels. And the reason, oh, actually, sorry, it's a negative 150 pixels. Cool. So now we can see we're starting to get a cube shape. And the reason why I said 150 is because, I mean, the height and the width of the divs are 300 pixels. So if I want to move it by half, I just have 300 pixels, you know, and then, all right, cool. So now we have the right face. Now let's go ahead and make the left face. Left face of the, all right, cool. And then let's go paste the, all right, and then let's set it to left face. And so the left face is pretty similar to the right face. The only difference is instead of translating it to the right, as we're doing here, we're translating it to the left. So, you know, if we set it to 0, it's going to be in the center, right? So all we need to do is set it to negative 150 pixels, and now there you go. Cool, so we have the left face done, and now we're going to go ahead and make the back face. And for the back face, we're just going to go ahead and copy the left face again. Or actually, let's copy the front face, because the back face is more similar to the front face than it is the other ones. Cool, front face, let's set it to back face. And once again, the back face is pretty similar to the front face, except it's just the Z translate is set backwards. All right, so what we're going to do is set translate, and then 0 pixels for the x-axis, 0 pixels for the y-axis, but negative 300 pixels for the z-axis. And there you go. Cool, we got the, here, let me set a background color of green to it. Cool, there we go. We have the back face in place. So now all we need now is the bottom, and then the bottom face. And the bottom face, let's just go ahead and copy the back face for that. And then let's go ahead and set the bottom face. And for the bottom face, we're gonna go ahead and do a rotate on it. And we're gonna rotate it along the x-axis by 90 degrees. So we're gonna rotate x-axis. We're gonna leave the y-axis disengaged, and cool, and the z-axis disengaged as well. But we're gonna rotate the x-axis at a 90-degree angle. And then, as you can kind of see here, the bottom face, it's already taking shape. Let's go ahead and set a background. Let's set it to black as well. All right, cool. And then let's go ahead and move it all the way down so we can kind of visualize where it is exactly. Let me remove the Z translate. And so if I move it down by like negative 150 pixels, okay, it's going the opposite. Let's set it 150 pixels. Okay, we kind of see it now. So it's almost in the right place. All we need now is to set the X translate to like negative 150 pixels, I think. Oh, sorry. No, not X-axis. I think we need to deal with the Y-axis or the Z-axis. Negative 150 pixels. Cool. All right, so now we have the bottom face in place. And now all we need now is the top face. And then if we go ahead and say top face, and let's go here, top face. And the top face, you know, we're just gonna go ahead and take. So this belonged to the bottom face. So what we're gonna do now is take the Y translate, and we're gonna set it in the opposite direction, which was negative 150 pixels for the Y-axis. So we're just taking the bottom face and moving it all the way up. So I think now the cube is pretty much done. Let's set this color to like green. All right, cool. And now let's go ahead and rotate this cube, you know. Let's set the container hover to rotate it. I don't know, like, let's rotate the x-axis a little bit, let's leave the y-axis disengaged, and then the z-axis. And let's rotate it at a 120-degree angle. Alright, so when we hover over it, okay, we can see what happens. Let's set a transition to the container. Transition of 1000 milliseconds. Alright, so now, isn't that cool? Like now we have the cube rotates, you know? And let me actually change the colors of the faces so you can see what's going on better. I mean, there's a lot of black going on here. This can be yellow. Cool. Alright. And let me move this here. Cool. Kind of looks like the Nintendo thing a little bit. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. You know, now you have a rotating bar. And let me explain something real quick. The importance of the preserve 3D. If we did not have this preserve 3D here, actually a better way of explaining this is, let me create another div here. A div. So this div is the parent of everything here. And if we set a class here to master container, alright, and then if we go to master container here, and if we go ahead here and we do so if we do not have the transform style enabled to preserve 3D, and we were like, oh, let's rotate it, and let's do, I don't know, some cool 3D rotation here of 70 to 57 degrees, you know. Then we're like, you know, then it's like, here, let me do a more dramatic one so you can see. It's just doing a 3D rotation on the image of the cube, you know. It's just rotating the image of it. But if we apply a transform style of preserve 3D to it, then it doesn't do then it actually does a 3D rotation to the actual 3D. Yeah, I mean, you get what but yeah, this is pretty much, and you can do so many cool things with this. I mean, on the hover, you could be here, like, and you could do on the hover, you could say like container hover, and then you could do, wait, first of all, let's okay. So on the hover here, you could do container hover, and then you could, I don't know, when the container is hovered, let's select the front face, and then, or no, yeah, let's select the front face, and let's make it like pop out of the cube. So we translate, and then let's do the z-axis, right? So it's 0 for the x-axis, 0 for the y-axis, and then let's do like 300 pixels for the z-axis. So then, isn't that cool? Like, oh wait, let's for the right face, let's make sure we hold up, or front face. Let's transition 500 milliseconds. So then, isn't that cool? Like, yeah, then we get like we basically have full dominion over every face, you know. Yeah. So this is and then you can do like back face too. You can do like something cool like here, like that, or you can do like, I don't know, like we can do like front face again, but we can make it like I mean, yeah, you get it. But thank you for watching the video. Please like and please subscribe.